And as I said, welcome back to the podcast, Capac Classmates Promoting Future Adults. I'm John Gonzalez, your host for today's show. And this is amazing. Got a couple great guys here that, man, I haven't seen probably in 40 years. And the other that I've been lucky in the last couple of years to kind of get reacquainted with. We're, of course, talking about Capac Classmates Promoting Future Adults, a nonprofit organization in Capac, Michigan, started by the class of, I believe, 81 to raise money to help these future adults, these high school age kids, with scholarships as they go on to further their education or maybe get into the entrepreneurial world. It's a really unique scholarship. We've talked about it before on the show. We'll get more into it right now because the point of it all is to get you to register for the upcoming big golf outing, Weapons of Grass Destruction, coming up June 20th. We'll get all the details here in a moment, but if you want to register, you can do that now at capacclassmates.org. That's the website. That's where you go to get all the information and, of course, register your team and help out this worthy cause. Even if you're not from Capac, but you think it's a cool idea, sign up and come out and support Capac Classmates Promoting Future Adults and, of course, the scholarship program. Let's get back to our guest here. Let's bring them onto the show. We'll start with my good friend Chuck Fellick, and Chuck and I were good friends all through high school, and also Chuck. I don't know if I told you this. I recently came across a photo of us at our confirmation back at Old St. Nicholas Catholic Church there in Capac not too long ago. I couldn't believe that you and I have the same confirmation date.
That is amazing. And if I remember, we're talking with Lisa, we had a giant storm that day.
Yeah.
And it was it was pretty interesting. But yeah, that's kind of weird that we had a few years apart, but making the same confirmation date.
Yeah,
But,
you were a little older than me, and
couple years, 2 years.
Your sister was in my grade, and that's how we got to know each other and become friends. And of course, our dads were also good friends too. So it was a lot of fun. And I know your dad loved baseball, like my dad did too. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yep.
A lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun, and speaking of baseball, also joining the podcast is Chris Mayu. Chris, how you doing?
Hey, John, how are you? Congratulations on what you've done in your life. And it's been 40 years at least since I've seen you. So super cool to see you. And of course, I've known Chuck and seen Chuck multiple times over the last couple of years, but super proud to be a Capac graduate and super proud to see the both of you on the podcast today.
Chris, it's amazing how time flies. Like you said, 40 years probably since the last time I saw you. I hope you're not offended when I say, dude, you had some great hair back in the day.
Oh, hey, thanks. But now it's all tanned up there. So I slimmed down. I just tanned it a little bit. That's
I know. But I also remember, like Chuck, you were a heck of an athlete. And did you play shortstop when you played baseball?
No, I was a catcher the whole time.
He was an outstanding catcher.
Really? That's right. You were the catcher. Who was your shortstop during your run there at Capac High School back in the early 80s?
Joey Whitehead, I think.
Yep, Joey Whitehead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember you had some good teams back in those days.
Right.
Yes, we did.
And then I see you speaking of sports, and folks, we will get to the golf outing here in a minute, but we got to reminisce a little bit. You have some really cool memorabilia on your back wall there. What do you got up there?
So I'm actually sitting in my office in my house here in Lake Orion. So I live in Lake Orion, and you see a collage that my wife put together for me from my birthday, kids being in the military. You see the Capac C that's on there. And then, looking at it, it's my right, but your left. That's a poster from the 1980 to 81 schedule of the varsity basketball team. And we're all dressed in tuxedos. So you can see guys like Ed Schmidlin, Dean Rinke, John Murphy, Andy Urbanski, Kurt Dean, Kurt Palmatier. You see a whole crowd that's there that was all dressed up in tuxes way back then.
I love that. Chuck, before you came on the air with us here, I was telling Chris that I remember those posters like yesterday. I mean, people talked about them because I don't know if that was the thing back in the thumb area to do, but it seemed like every school had their own schedules. And Chris, do you remember how it started? Why we got dressed up or came up with a theme every year?
So no, I think it started even a couple years before me, but it was sort of like that's how they got the donations. They gave all of the local commerce posters that they put up, like the barber shops and the stores, and they gave them the posters, and then each one of the commerce donated, just like we're trying to do. They donated to the athletics in Capac. So same concept, same thing we're doing, just to call it 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Different methodology of raising money for the needy and for doing the right things for the right people.
Yeah, no, it's great. Great point. Way to bring it back to the podcast because you're right. I mean, things change, but sometimes things stay the same as well. And Capec's always been one to look out for each other. Yes, we've gone through some ups and downs, like a lot of communities in Michigan. You know, trying to struggle to stay vibrant and try to keep up with everything. The local businesses obviously have changed over the years, so. But it's fun to see that spirit of giving by the local businesses. Chuck, with this golf outing coming up on June 20th. Do you get a lot of donations from local businesses? Where does the bulk of the money come? Does it all come from this golf outing?
Bulk of it does come from the golf outing, but there's many different sponsors and people that do donate money. Lisa Cook Gordon is more or less in charge of a lot of that stuff, and she hits the bricks going out to every single business there is, not just in Capac, but Emily City. I try to hit different golf courses to get donations as prizes or for bidding on different golf packages that the players or participants can bid on to also raise money. It's been an interesting experience. We honestly, when we started this, we never knew it was going to get to be like this, and this is our
Yeah.
fifth anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Fifth anniversary.
congratulations. Yeah. And thanks for mentioning that because if you're just tuning in, folks, and you don't know much about this nonprofit organization, Chuck, you were part of the beginning of it. Chris, I don't know if you were at the beginning as well, but I know that you know all these guys. But Chuck, why don't you give us a quick little rundown of how this all started?
Well, we had our 40th high school reunion in 2021, and it was such a good time. I mean, everybody had just it was a blast. We were inside and outside of the venue, reminiscing, meeting old friends, laughing, and it was such a joyful event. I got a phone call from, well, Lisa, and then we added Lisa also contacted Paul Leonard, and we wanted to meet. And so we met at the same venue, and we said, we had such a good time. Maybe we should try to make this an annual event. Maybe we'll see if we can get a golf outing, maybe we'll see if we get, 30, 40 people, whatever, and come out, just have a good time, just keep it a tradition going. And little did we know the response that we would get. We were overwhelmed, to say the least, the first year. And it's grown every single year. And last year, even though we had a rain out, which wasn't expected, we initially did not have a backup plan. The course was nice enough to give us another date in September. And we basically had every single team still show up. And that was, I believe, was 33 teams last year. But everybody has a good time. We had, I guess you could say, graduating classes represented from 1962, I believe, all the way up to 2000, and this was last year, 26. So can you imagine, you have graduates from 1962. I'm not sure how many there were, but we're golfing in this golf outing and supporting us. It's just, yeah, it's hectic and it's fun. And
Yeah,
Chris was the grandmaster, and also he put a lot of input and was on that golf course, left, right, up and down, making sure everybody was happy if they needed anything. And because the last year you didn't, I don't think you golfed in it last year. You were like the man on the course. You were the man taking care of everybody on the course, and which was fantastic.
Chris, what is that like to not only just be active and be volunteering, but to give back to the community like this?
So let's start at the beginning a little bit. So first and foremost, the board that's running this, Chuck, the board, Lisa, the other Lisa, the whole team there, they deserve a lot of credit. Like a lot of credit. This is above and beyond their normal life, above and beyond their job, above and beyond their family. So that group of people really deserve a super round of applause from everybody from that. And then, this is our 6th year. So there's been 5 individuals that are selectively, go through interviews to get the scholarships that we're giving out. And the scholarships are not for, call it super A students. They're for what we've tried to select is the best people, the best individuals, the people that, w- are going to go and be community people in the future. That's really it's all about giving back, right? So give to them. And then hopefully 20 years from now, they're running this thing. That's the whole goal. And we kind of created this, phrase that says, let's create our legacy. What's our legacy going to be? And our legacy from the board, and okay, hopefully, 50 years from now, it's like the Masters or it's like something else, but it's Capac plus, right? From that perspective. So they deserve a lot of credit and they work super, super, super hard. And then the donations that they get, and again, if you ask Lisa, they get the donations from Capac graduates from 50 states. It's amazing. It might be $5, it might be $50, it might be $500, but the contributions coming from the past alumni is super, super cool of what you see in that. And I had the weekend, I spent it with my mom. She's graduated in, I think, 52, to be honest with you, and maybe even before then. And she said her and her classmates were out. They heard about the golf outing. They passed the hat, and the next thing you know, they're donating to the charity event. So they deserve a lot of credit. And so does the local community, the golf course, of course. Capac graduates run the golf course. They donate pretty much the time and the place. We have lots of fun and there's lots of great people there. So well worth coming out, well worth donating. There's nothing that's, um, this off the top going somewhere else. It's all going for like Capac students. So that's super cool about the organization in itself.
Chris, good job, both said. Good summary of everything, and right, giving credit to those that deserve it the most. Chuck, can you give us some details about the golfing event in itself? You mentioned the shotgun start. What course are we at again this year?
Well, Bell River Country Club. It's located on Bell River Road. As Chris said, 2 Capac graduates own the golf course, and they have donated a lot and helped us out a lot, gave us great deals to continue to have this. Registration for the teams ends on June 1st. We have 25 teams registered as of today, as I know of. And I know we have a few more coming. The shotgun start is at 9 o'clock. You want to be there early to get signed up. It's going to be a pretty seamless event. You just look for your captain's name of your team. It'll give you directions to the golf cart and everything. We did this last year. It was really smooth and worked out fine. And then the rest of it is just about, just about having fun and sharing laughs, sharing good times. And, we try to keep it very lighthearted. I'm not a very good golfer. I do hit the ball, not very far sometimes, but you know what? It's all about having fun. And I don't mind laughing at myself. Um, but again, it's a very, very good event. And we're so happy to have you emceeing it this year, John. That's going to give us a big, huge boost to promote more. And I've been talking to other communities too. I've got 7 grandkids. 2 of them are in Capac, 5 of them are in Elmont. And I've been talking to my daughter who lives in Elmont. I said, you guys could start something like this in your community, and try to branch out to get other communities involved. And we would be more than happy to help them out, get something started for that. Um, it's definitely worthwhile. It's one of the highlights of my year, coming up to this. It's hectic, it's
Yeah,
crazy, and I'm so glad when it is over,
right.
but it's so much fun.
Well, Chuck, you bring up a good point. We've talked about it in years past that this is something any community can do, really. But Chris hit on something too, that it does take a special persons, a team to say we're going to do this. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to have fun, and we're going to value every single person that has some time. Right? I think where a lot of nonprofits or community groups get in trouble is that some person says, "Well, I've been here every single day and I put in this amount of hours," which gives them carte blanche to be in charge, right? When
Yes.
that's the wrong way to look at it. These things are about just whatever time someone has, and no one is to judge someone's time or someone's heart. At least that they're giving back and trying. That's the most important thing.
Mhm.
And they're all equal, right? And I think that's one thing I love about Lisa. She's got a great spirit. She wants everyone's input. And someone's got to be in charge, unfortunately, and you got to make those final decisions. But at the end of the day, it's all about just trying to raise money and help out these kids. Chris, the scholarship money goes. I know you're familiar with some of the criteria for it. It really reaches a broad spectrum of students, right? It's not just those that are all A's and those that are going to go on to be valedictorian. This is for just about anyone that wants to apply, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let's go back to Lisa. So the best party planner in the world, right? That's the best way to say what Lisa does. She knows how to coordinate who
Amen.
needs to do what, when, where, and why,
Yeah.
and it can bring it all together and keep it at an even keel, right? And that's super hard. To your point is, okay, I've had the opportunity to lead many people in my life. It's all about relationships, being open, integrity, and being open and honest with each other. So it's a lot of what Capac says for Capac. Yeah. So the event, when we sat down, we talked about it. It's like, what does the world need? Not that what does Capac need? Capac doesn't need graduates, valedictorians, and presidents. Let's say, what is Capac good at? And what do we do? So we said, okay, smart people going to college want to be an education that change the world like you're doing. I was in the auto industry, Chuck's in the auto industry. So it could be many, but we also said not only that, but if you want to go to skilled trades, which is
Yes,
today is a big deal. We need more skilled trades in our
absolutely.
trades. We're willing to, whatever you're the best at, but show us you're the best person and we'll help you be the best in your successful life, whatever we can do for you. That was sort of the mantra that we had at the very beginning. It's not about, okay, there's a lot of people that can get all A's and go to college and okay, great, but okay, who are you going to bring with you? Sort of the role, you can, how do you bring the whole community with you? And it's a very hard criteria, to be honest with you. Um, but at the same time, it's a little bit different demographics when we say, look, we're not, all you have to do is apply. We're going to interview you. And if you want to go to trade schools, that's great. If you want to be a mechanic, we'll help you be a mechanic. If you want to be a valedictorian and president of the United States, we'll help you do that the best way that we can. So that's sort of a unique criteria.
Yeah, I love that. Don't you, Chuck?
Oh yeah, the one other thing too is like Chris was saying, you can use this for a trade school. If you want to get go to beauty school, go to anything you want that's going to better yourself. We have two levels of the scholarship. The first year is certain amount of money, and if they reapply again and they qualify, they get the rest of the scholarship. Um, Lisa is also a great delegator. She can delegate. She always seems
Right.
to find the perfect people. And as far as the interviewing and whatnot goes, those of us that are on the initial board, there's a whole separate group of people that were handpicked and volunteered also. They do all the interviewing separate from us. So there is no, I guess you could say, family ties or anything like that. We actually will pull ourselves out off the board. Someone had for 1 year because they had a family member that was a senior, So we don't want any type of there's no influence whatsoever. This is all done above the board. And there is we have elections every couple years. So anybody who wants to step up and volunteer, that's fine. Lisa is holding the spots for the next person who wants to step up,
Right.
and she will, she loves her spot. There's no doubt about it, but she would be more than happy to hand it over to the next generation coming up that might have newer and fresher ideas
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the scholarship.
Well, I'm glad that we're giving so much credit to Lisa and her vision for this, because she really deserves it. Like you said, Chris and Chuck, she really we keep coming back to her, so that's a good thing. It's not, and I think I like too what you said, that she's really ready to at any time step aside and let someone else come in and take over. But for the most part, let's get people to register. If we had 30 plus teams last year, the last several years, we should have it again this year. Folks, if you want to register, you can do that today. The deadline is June 1, 2026. If you're just seeing us and you just want to make a donation, you can do that as well. All the information at capacclassmates.org. Chris, I know that, is there anything else you want to say? Because I got a couple of nostalgia questions for both of you guys. Anything else you want to add about the golf outing?
No, so first and foremost, all I can tell you, so I've had the opportunity to either be there or play every year. I see somebody I haven't seen in 40 years, like seeing yourself. It's an absolutely fantastic time to reminisce with people. It's amazing, amazing, amazing what Capac graduates have done in their lives.
Yes.
It's just amazing. It just
Yeah.
blows my mind from that perspective. And again, I was thinking about what I would say. So I graduated. I think we had one of the largest classes, Chuck, and I think we had
Yeah.
100 people. And my daughter and my kids have graduated from Lake Orion, and they have 600 people. I have 100 friends. They have 5 friends. The way I look at it,
Yes.
right? So it's a
Yep.
little bit different philosophy. So I would just recommend everybody, hey, look, it's a great time. Come and enjoy yourself. If you can't come and enjoy yourself, $5, $10, $20, $100 donation is absolutely great. Whatever it is, it really doesn't make a difference. We're trying to put it to good use, and it's for a very, very good cause.
You can also volunteer for the outing to help out. We could always use some more volunteers, and you don't have to come just to golf. You could just come for the dinner. There's a separate charge, I guess, I believe, for the dinner, just to come for that. But yeah, we're always looking for volunteers, and it's a feel good thing. It really does. It makes you feel good to get out there and, like Chris said, seeing people, seeing your friends that you will have for a lifetime, no matter what. Even it's like, even seeing Chris the first time I saw you in a lot of years, it was like, oh my gosh, there's Chris Mayu. We were, and there's, it's yeah, it was amazing. And about that year of basketball you guys had, one of the most exciting games I can remember in my entire life was against, I believe it was New Haven, district finals, back and forth game. And what was it, with like 5 seconds to go? Cubby Burgess hit that jumper to send the place just nuts, absolutely nuts. Oh man. Yeah, that was some of the nostalgia.
Yeah, that's the nostalgia for sure. Do you have any favorite memories, Chris, from playing in your sports days there at Capac High School?
No, so I have a super lot of them. Okay,
Yeah.
our senior in baseball. I mean, we were a great team. Unfortunately, I was playing just before the regional finals and shattered my hand, so I actually couldn't play in the regional
Wow.
finals. After 4 years of playing varsity catcher, I couldn't play, and I had a shattered hand. That game that Chuck talked about, that was one of Mr. Perryman's, call it brainchilds, where he put in all the great shooters, and they played a zone, and Kurt Palmatier, I think, went for 20 points. Abel Roses went for 20, and we just shot from the outside. So there's lots and lots. Playing football with Chuck, I can, tell him, hey, the 46 blast, and he'll still know where to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Since I was the quarterback, and
Ah.
he was, that was the only player our coach knew, but it was the blast. But there's
Yeah,
lots of great times, right?
and we were the ones that usually got blasted.
That's right. Okay, way back then, but that's
Yeah.
good times.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's wrap up with favorite teachers because I mean, teachers can be coaches too. Because let's face it, I mean, our coaches teach us so much about life, right? I mean, I'm sure all three of us could name coaches that were so influential in our lives, not only personally but professionally, right? Think about every work situation that you've been in all these years, and it's usually something you learn on a sports team somewhere how to handle a situation. We'll start with you, Chris.
Okay, so I can't be remiss right here. So the biggest teacher in my life was my father.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, has passed, but I think we've all learned, and we learned it's important that we never believe what they said when we were young, and as we've gotten older, they're really telling the truth most of the time. So from a teacher perspective, that would be it. Probably the favorite person, okay, through school that I look up to, Mr. Owens was a great
Mhm.
baseball coach. Woody Perman, who I knew not only for high school, but my brother was really good. I met him and seen him multiple times throughout, the period of time, even to the point where when he passed away and got to meet his family. Those two people were very special to me.
How about you, Chuck?
Uh, Mr. Owen, obviously, Mr. Dunsmore, because I can remember going to his class. He was a
Mhm.
Vietnam vet,
Yeah,
and we can get him talking about that. And for good or bad, the class wouldn't be a class. We'd be talking about his experiences, which was mind blowing and very, it just, you learn so much about it. But also a special shout out to Mr. Marska. I still remember at lunchtime him putting that big speaker in the hallway and just blasting out some rock and roll. He was such an excitable guy coaching wise. Um, I just, yeah, he would give all of us nicknames. Well, a lot of us nicknames for football, but yeah, he was very intense individual. But yeah, they were all great. Mr. Smith, our junior high basketball
right.
coach, good old Smitty. Man, so many of them, just so many of them. But it was now I'm thinking about I'm gonna go open my yearbook
Yeah,
and go through and look at it again. It's been a
yeah.
little while.
Yeah, no, all those guys that you mentioned, I remember really well. They all had a big influence on my life as well. Obviously, Don Smith, because I don't know if you remember this, Chris. I played basketball with your brother Tom in seventh and eighth grade with Mr. Smith, but I was kind of on the fringe there. I mean, it was a very talented group, as you recall. My grade, class of '83, had a lot of talent. You mentioned Kurt Dean earlier,
Mm.
so there's a lot of talent in that grade. So I was kind of I didn't make the freshman basketball team, or the JV at the time. I don't know if we had a freshman team, so I didn't make it in tryouts. And Don Smith just said, "You can come be my manager if you want to, and come to practice with me and help me run the seventh and eighth grade teams." And I'm like, I can do that, you know. But then here's the thing: is like he never treated me as the ball boy or the manager. Sure, I went and collected uniforms or whatever, but during the games he had me with the clipboard. He had me keeping stats the way he wanted. He kept showing me why he was keeping the certain stats. He talked to me about a strategy of who he was putting in when matchups against the other team. How he would look at the team during warmups that we were playing and match up who was going to guard who, all this stuff. I sat with him on the bench, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and I learned from him day in, day out. I even coached girls basketball with him when he was doing that too. And I learned from just being with him every day how to handle yourself in a professional setting, how to represent your school, how to use just common courtesy, opening the door, shutting the door, leaving the locker room cleaner than when you got there. All those things, right? That help shape you to become the adult that you are. And he really played a big role in that for me. I wanted to bring up one name because I almost mentioned him earlier, Mr. Marska. Now, did he coach varsity basketball?
Not in our years. He was varsity football.
Was he
Yeah.
JV basketball at some
Yeah, he
point?
might have been JV basketball then. But
Because
he eventually, after Woody Perman left, yeah.
Well, the reason I remember is because one of those posters you were looking at your poster earlier, Chris. I remember there was a poster he showed me. There was, and you may remember the photo, a bunch of the guys were like injured. Then they had, they had like, what do you use when you can't walk? Those
Casts and
Crutches.
crutches. They had crutches,
More.
the arm slings or whatever. And his
So I think that was
headline,
83-ish or 84-ish.
his headline was "We ain't dead yet." when the schedule ran below it. I remember
Yeah.
Mr. Marska. I also remember his cheer, the Usa Sasa Isa Sasa. Remember that cheer he used to do?
No.
It was USA. I remember it was at a pep rally, and he's out there with the microphone, getting the crowd all excited. He's like, "All right, repeat after me," and everyone's like, "Okay." He's like, "USA Sasa," and everyone cheers. "Isa Sasa," and everyone cheers. And then he goes, "Hit him in the head with the big kabasa."
I do remember that now. Yeah,
I'm like,
I remember that now.
Where is this guy from? I remember they're like, what is this guy on?
He was a character.
He was a character, yeah. Yeah, which also reminded me, like, don't take things too seriously,
No.
Got to have a little fun along the way. Guys, it's been a lot of fun reminiscing. Anything else you want to add about anything? Chris, we'll start with you and then with Chuck.
Yeah, no, so hey, please, if you get an opportunity, if you can, again, join us. It's a super, super good time. I don't think anybody will not have fun. You'll meet people that you haven't seen in a long period of time. You get to reminisce. It's really amazing from my perspective of what the Capac graduates have done over time, all over the world, all over different types of the organizations, what they've done in their careers, in their family lives, in their kids' lives, etc. If you can't make that, then please donate. It's a great cause. And if you're interested in moving forward, again, this is a legacy we're trying to create. So, the PGA, I think, was, 100 years this year. The Masters was 100 plus years. So, again, it's a golf outing. Who knows, 15 years from now, 20 years, it might be, electronic games on a board, but at least we're getting people together and we're contributing for the right reasons. So thanks everybody for listening. And John, thanks for doing a great job, like always.
You got it. Chuck, want to wrap us up here?
Yeah, couldn't said it any better than what Chris said, but I can guarantee you one thing. If you do come, like Chris said, to the golf outing and you see some old classmates and stuff, there's some memories that are going to come flooding back that you haven't experienced in many, many years. And all you're going to do is look at somebody one time and just, without saying a word, just start laughing because you're almost thinking about the same time and the same thing. It's a blast. It's a great time. Please donate if you can't come, but I urge you, please, if not this year, try coming next year because we ain't going anywhere.
All right, folks, it is capacclassmates.org is the website. Register, make donation, get involved, volunteer, make a difference in young people's lives. We really would love to have you come out June 20th to the Weapons of Grass Destruction. Chris, thanks for joining the podcast. Chuck, is always good to see you. And Chris, let's not make it 40 years next time, all right?
All right, I'll see you at the golf outing, I hope.
All right, take care, guys. Good night.
Yep, we'll see you.